neighbor Joe, neighbor Joe, neighbor Joe. Oh, morning, neighbor, morning, morning, neighbor, morning, morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want your conniving morning, morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning, morning, neighbor, morning. You can keep your conniving morning. When you been a corrupong, you not been tell me morning. No, because your money done, you come with conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, you not been tell me morning. No, because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning. Morning, neighbor, morning, morning, neighbor, morning, morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want your conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, Joe, come. Neighbor, neighbor, Joe, come. Neighbor, neighbor, Joe, come. This is all the money that me work for. A 2 pound a note and a guilar piece. A 2 pound a note and a guilar piece. A 2 pound a note and a guilar piece. This is all the money that me work for. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want your conniving morning. Oh, Joseph, pour me. Oh, Joseph, pour me. Oh, Joseph, pour me. What we could do with a guitar piece? 1 bunch queen plantain, 1 string quacquari, 1 Jill black pepper. All you could do with a guitar piece. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want your conniving morning. When you been a corrupong, you not been tell me morning. Now because your money done, you come with conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, you not been tell me morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. I don't want your conniving morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. You can keep your conniving morning.
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockcrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockcrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockcrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. All day I back down, me now I come home. Inaga, jackass yard for fetchy load. Cockle Cheyenne, bag over shoulder, running by his side, a Rexy and Rover. From the farm, them a come. Sun a go down but up the river. Some washing clothes, some folks are bathing at the water. Fisherman, they catch them a bring. From a canoe boat, man, them start offloading. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Lokonani. Aymara, Kwakwari, Hail Baka Kuma Kuma, even Banga Mary. Listen to this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country. Them children glad when the weekend come. Out in the yard, them all gather round. Some a play catcher, some making house from straw. Two who come later, a grandma or grandpa. All a sit down just a wait. Moonlight so bright, it's just the right time to listen story or to say a little nursery rhyme. Grandpa voice a echo in the night as he tell some picnic are there with fright. Oh, Ligan, Mungeza, Massa Kurma Nancy, even Watamuma. Oh, Ligan, Moongazer, Massa Kurma Nancy, even Watamuma. Yeah, man, that's the true story that tell the people about life in the country, life in the country.
You gon' vex, but I tell you, sometimes you just got to listen. There's a child in every home and every community. They will grow up to be symbols of unity. They'll be colorblind to race and ethnicity. That's the vision of a leader like President Irfan Ali. I'm talking about the one Guyana where our people can live in peace, where every race trusts each other, where racial prejudice no longer exists. Our children will have one Guyana to grow up in a land united and free with equality and blessed with prosperity. For too long we've been fighting one another. It's race against race, but in the end the country suffer. Oh, we were born here, not in India nor Africa. But if we can't get along, the foreigners gon' eat we suffer. We must put an end to racism. Let it end now with this generation. Together we'll develop this nation. Make Guyana the gem of the Caribbean. Don't listen to them wicked politicians who will divide us to win an election. Believe it or not, Guyanese no smarter than that. Yeah, I told you, it's your boy Padmore. Unity is the key. We are all one and we should be treated as one. Our ancestors were slaves and laborers, but the life they endured made it better for us. We honor their sacrifice and the freedom they bought for we. But some descendants of slaves use that to fuel the rich. It doesn't matter what's your skin color, when we bleed blood it's red the same. Let's respect and love one another. When a brother cry we must feel the pain. We're Portuguese, African and Indian. We're Chinese mixed up, we're Amerindians. We're all Guyanese. Let's end this segregation. I'm appealing to Guyanese in the diaspora. We welcome you home. We've got a lot to offer. It's not the same place that you run away from. Come see the paradise Guyana has now become. I'm talking about the one Guyana where our people can live in peace, where every race trusts each other, where racial prejudice no longer exists. Our children will have one Guyana to grow up in a land united and free with equality and blessed with prosperity. It's a message I just want you to understand. Stop and think for a minute. Really think for a minute. If we can't fix the present, then we should work on the future. Sometimes you just got to listen. There's a child in every home and every community. They will grow up to be symbols of unity. They'll be colorblind to race and ethnicity. That's the vision of a leader like President Irfan Ali. I'm talking about the one Guyana where our people can live in peace, where every race trusts each other, where racial prejudice no longer exists. Our children will have one Guyana to grow up in a land united and free with equality and blessed with prosperity. For too long we've been fighting one another. It's race against race, but in the end the country suffer. Oh, we were born here, not in India nor Africa. But if we can't get along, the foreigners gon' eat we suffer. We must put an end to racism. Let it end now with this generation. Together we'll develop this nation. Make Guyana the gem of the Caribbean. Don't listen to them wicked politicians who will divide us to win an election. Believe it or not, Guyanese no smarter than that. Yeah, I told you, it's your boy Padmore. Unity is the key. We are all one and we should be treated as one. Our ancestors were slaves and laborers, but the life they endured made it better for us. We honor their sacrifice and the freedom they bought for we. But some descendants of slaves use that to fuel the rich. It doesn't matter what's your skin color, when we bleed blood it's red the same. Let's respect and love one another. When a brother cry we must feel the pain. We're Portuguese, African and Indian. We're Chinese mixed up, we're Amerindians. We're all Guyanese. Let's end this segregation. I'm appealing to Guyanese in the diaspora. We welcome you home. We've got a lot to offer. It's not the same place that you run away from. Come see the paradise Guyana has now become. I'm talking about the one Guyana, where our people can live in peace, where every race trusts each other, where racial prejudice no longer exists. Our children will have one Guyana, to grow up in a land united and free with equality and blessed
with prosperity. The vocals of Mr. Akeem Padmore Evans. Good morning to you guys and welcome to another episode of Livewire. It's the 25th of April 2024 and we're here yet again to go through the paces. Lovely to be here with you. Morning to all the persons tuned in on the live already, joining us from across the diaspora and the 10 administrative regions of Guyana. Muntiaz Ali, morning to you. Ronald Shivdyal, good morning. Veena Ramkaran, Derek Drupal, Paul Joseph, morning to you. Special good morning to Miss Eunice Raghubir joining us from Canada. Mohammed Isaf, morning to you. In the Paul Narayan joining us from Minnesota. John Ragnard, good morning to you. Pam Singh, morning to you and Trevor. Maureen Razio, Krista Kurprasad, Aaron Raghubir joining us from the Bronx, New York. Neil Ramlukan joining us from New York City. Faisal Ghani, morning to you. Alia Mohammed, morning to you. Anthony Wong joining us from France. Good morning. Jamila Kayoum, Henry Jagdio, Joan Abidjan joining us from Canada. Philip Diabru from Canada, good morning to you. Lola Hari, Rahim Amarali, Nadia, morning to you. Asif Hamad, Data Nandalal, Cecil Rampasad, Alan Khan, morning to you. Soman Bipath, good morning. Dale Henry, Rose, Richard Aklu, morning to you. Viru Badar, Chitra Sukraj, Sherwin Siram, good morning to you. Mukesh Vishnudat, good morning to you and the family. Good morning to you and the family. Richard Stanislas, Sally Jones, Prem Prashad joining us from New York City. Lance Henry, Michael, what? Special good morning to Miss Arjun on the live. Morning to Miss Bob joining us from Mocha. Jasoda Budram, good morning to you. Jean Cornelius, Renetta Small, good morning to you, Miss Small. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Working hard in her community. This lady, Renetta Small, I usually say on this program Renetta Small was one of the candidates for the LGE elections. And I usually say on this program that these candidates right now are effecting more change in their community than the persons who are actually elected to serve at the council level, right? Renetta Small, y'all must check it out. Clear Narine, morning to you. Rosita Nicholas, good morning. Nirmala Allen. Jane joining us from St. Martin. Omar Sharif from NYC. Good morning, everybody. Clifford, morning to you. Raymond Lira joining us from Queens. Dionan Suku, Brampton, Canada. Morning to everybody there. And trouble. Apparently, people eat too much chicken last night, so they can't comment and stay up. Marisha Sami, morning to you. Shakira Alexi. Yeah, Shakira Alexi. Morning, everybody. Guys, I finally get them. The Livewire jerseys. I like the quality, man. Y'all gotta check out 360 Designs. Those guys doing an excellent job. Excellent job there. So finally I can engage the winner of the Godi Walk, Godi Jump Challenge. And I have a few more loyal viewers that, have to get some jerseys too. So they're finally here. Now, before we continue, guys, please join me in wishing our president, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, celebrating his birthday today. An amazing leader. Guyana has been on a transformational path since he would have been elected to office at the 2020 elections, despite the long, prolonged period before we got official results, credible results from the elections. And he has been serving this country and putting Guyana on the map in ways that we cannot imagine. He has represented us at international fora. He has stood up to the childish antics of persons in the opposition right here in Guyana, and he continues to make us proud on a daily basis with his representation as the leader of Guyana, and especially in cases of our sovereignty, to ensure that Guyanese have a feeling of security in these times where persons are making unwarranted, unsubstantiated advances on our territory and our sovereignty here in Guyana. So happy birthday to you, Mr. President. I do hope you have an enjoyable day. I do know you have cabinet today. Today is Thursday, so I guess it's a working birthday for the president. And guys, if you have a chance, go over to his page on Facebook, wish him happy birthday, and Allah's blessing so that he's here with us and he can ensure that the trajectory and the pace that has been set by this PPPC administration since he's taken office continues to the end of his second term and on to whichever president takes over after him. Happy birthday to you, Mr. President. I hope you have an enjoyable day. Right. Also today, guys, don't forget 2 p.m. today, the vice president will be having his press conference. And you guys, gosh, will I be here? I might stream. I'm not guaranteeing today. I have to be in the field today. So I might, depending on if I'm able to, I'll stream it. If not, you can check the vice president's page on Facebook, and there's also a broadcast on YouTube as well that you guys can check out this press conference. And a lot has happened since then, so it would be interesting to hear the topics that are dealt with today at the General Secretary's press conference. I say vice president, he's vice president too. But this is a PPP press conference, and he will be speaking from the standpoint of the General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Civic. political party. Morning to Councillor Stephanie Nelson Moore, joining us late, but she here, and we glad. Lance Henry, Philip Diabru, morning, 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 morning. Guys, so as you saw in the ad, we have the minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water on the program today. She'll be on a little later on to tell us about what's been happening in housing. Two successful Dream Realize hosted already for the year. Lands being prepared, steel and cement subsidy, community roads being built, bypass highways, new wells being dug, a lot of stuff happening at the Ministry of Housing and Water, and the minister will be here to take us through the paces in relation to that. However, before we get into that, we got some housekeeping to do from yesterday. So I saw a video surface on Facebook. And it made my heart so glad. You hear me, people? It made my heart so glad that Guyanese, whether they're in Guyana or not, they're not allowing persons to create. Man, you got time with Melly Mel cussing about housing drive, Richard? What housing drive that had on the PNU for Melly Mel to cuss up about? They didn't have anything to cuss up about. So, and I come into that because you see Melly Mel, I see Nima Flubes, and this lady really annoys me. Y'all know Nima Flubes, the one who's looked like a piece of beef jerky. Yeah, that one. We can talk about it a little later. But I wanted to run to this video here. Yesterday we spoke a bit about this call for the boycotting of Afro-Guyanese businesses in the United States. I think it's in Queens or the Bronx or wherever they are. But in the US, due to the president's visit recently, and the fact that he was at several of these businesses and interacting with Guyanese, and a few social media influencers, and mind you, I'm saying influencer intentionally because these people don't influence anybody. These persons, Mark Benchcup, Melly Mel, Sherrod Duncan, David Hines, Kadaki Amsterdam, all of them are like a virus, an influenza taking over this country, making people sick with the nonsense. You understand? We might God get a vaccine for them because they can be very infectious to the gullible. You understand? Very infectious. So let me go to this video.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to join this live. This is Kevin on Church Avenue. I'm going to join this live. Right now, they're in front of the hills. In front of the hills. Right now, they're in front of the hills. And they're going inside the shop. As you can see, all these pastries done. Food done. This is left. Everything done. All the food done. The food done. There is food set out. There's what kind of boycott going on. There's what kind of boycott going on right now. Then I know the food done. There's what kind of boycott going on. There's a boycott going on. All the food done. You buy the food?
I don't buy the food out there.
Oh, it's gone. I could boycott any place. I relax yourself, eh? I just mock.
And I would have said it here many times before this gentleman. A pack of mook. A pack of mooks. I even mentioned yesterday this lady, Shonda Daniel Smith, who went out on the seawall and going on and making herself a fool, hollering down the place like if, I don't know, she possessed or something. I'm absolutely, don't let me say absolute, freaking absolute. 95% sure Shonda Daniels won't patronize a woman or go there and lime and buy 2 beers. And likewise, in this video, you understand me? The guy says you Mark Bench Cup and these people don't come and shop here. You telling people boycott Afro Guyanese business? Madness.
Mark is a muck. So because out of respect, I won't violate and cuss you.
And sir, I am here faced with the same dilemma daily. Because honestly, these people just make you want to cuss up. Padma Bal, one morning to you. Cecil, morning to you. You understand? The people food sell out. And I said that yesterday. I said it yesterday. All the president doing there is putting those places on the map. You understand? So if only Guyanese knew about Palm and Hills, you understand? Now much more people know outside of Guyanese. Now people who go into the States or New York or wherever they're located at probably are asking for Palms and Hills restaurant to see what the food tastes like. Because they could probably get a Guyanese experience right there in New York. You understand me? Right? So I was so happy when this guy made this video to show that people are still supporting those places. And I was even more glad that it was Afro Guyanese in the video saying, Mark is a mook. Mark Benchcup is a mook, just like Darren Wade. Darren Wade is the mook in chief, but Mark Benchcup, right there with you. He's probably like a treasurer mook or a secretary mook or something. But chief, mook in chief, Darren Wade. Following closely behind Mark Benchcup. You understand?
Is a mook. Mr. Benchcup is a mook. Darius food just sell out. That's why I know Darius food sell out. And everybody else, check out them up food.
And imagine, like I said, I was so glad it was Afro Guyanese. Because anytime I was Indo Guyanese, you'd hear the PVP send them out there to make video and all kind of thing. Only Afro Guyanese in this video. So Mark Benchcup is willing to fight down his own people. You remember? His own people, Afro Guyanese, we got band together according to Mark and the rest of them. Everybody treating we bad, according to them. Mark, you are a mook. Mark, you are a mook. And for you to turn on your fellow Afro Guyanese, wow.
No more food. They got no more food. Plus, I don't buy Miss Pam here. By the bakery, the guy is.
And Miss Pam, I did say you were spineless yesterday, right? I did say you were spineless yesterday to call in on Mark's program. To call in on Mark's program and to offer apology for the president of the country visiting your establishment. I was told, according to this guy you guys will hear, Miss Pam flatbread sell out. They got more bread, but the flatbread sell out. You understand? So people are still supporting you, Miss Pam. People are still supporting you despite what this idiot Mark Benchcup say. And I don't know why you feel that Mark Benchcup got that kind of influence over the Guyanese community in the US. That one word from him gonna cause them to stop supporting your business and they gonna flop. Miss Pam, you better catch yourself.
Bakery that he want boycott. I never on this place here. On this in front of this building for like 20-something years. I never see Mark yet. Mark, I never see you come on Church Avenue yet.
You hear what the man said? Morning to Zoe Little. And wait, man. Wait, Zoe and this man watching from 2 different devices. Big up yourself, Deshaun. But yeah, y'all understand what's going on? The man said, I never see Mark out there. Mark don't shop there. You know, there got some people who's go America and get foreign minded. You saw these Guyanese, they like to be in touch with the culture. They want Guyanese food. They want Guyanese style baked bread. They want Guyanese pastries. They're staying grounded. People like Mark Benchcup just go overseas and get foreign minded. So he is shopping there. He's not shopping there. Miss Bob, morning to you. And all the Maconians are in the place.
You never even buy a plate of fucking food.
I never see you go.
And the lady had to cuss up. I'm going to allow it. Yes, let her curse up, Pete. Never buy a plate of food at the place. Never see you in the hills, Mark. They see you. Mark, you don't go in the hills, brother? You don't go in the hills?
I never see. I put this place here. For this, in front of this building for like 20 something years. I never see Mark yet. Mark, I never see you go up on Church Avenue yet.
You never even buy a plate of fucking food.
I never see you go up on Church Avenue yet, big man. Never come, never. But there is food sell out. I got over by Miss Pammy to see if she bread sell out. I got in.
This guy is the best. Somebody give this guy an award. Give this guy an award. Mind you, my boy engaged people on the road. Regular Guyanese, overseas-based Guyanese of Afro descent and of the age group that the coalition favors. You understand? Grown people, big people, as the Americans like to say, grown-ass people. Right? Grown-ass people. Let me go.
Y'all come for boycott Darius food? Y'all boycotting Darius food?
None
You boycotting Darius food? Tell Benchcup.
Big man.
You see these people come up for Benchcup, you know?
Big man thing.
Y'all boycotting Darius food? Never. Let them know.
Man.
Better food. Better food. You boycott.
You're mad. Guyanese banding together, Afro-Guyanese to support Afro-Guyanese business. One Guyana, that's what we're dealing with. One Guyana. They ain't got no Indo, Afro, Amo, and them thing. One Guyana. That is what we're concerned about. You understand?
Let them know. Mr. Benchcup up on the setup.
So what happened with Darius food?
Darius food done sell out already.
Okay.
You buy the food today?
No, I ain't buying none.
You want your sugar buns up, I can buy you something. You want beer?
All the Darius food done sell out. I got into the bakery now. I got into the bakery. This is Pam's Bakery. I never seen Mark yet.
Listen, I can pause with this. My guest is here. But again, as I said, I was elated to see Afro-Guyanese coming out and representing other Afro-Guyanese. After persons who represent a certain party that claim to have the least and the most love for Afro-Guyanese, called on Afro-Guyanese to boycott Afro-Guyanese. It's a sad situation. Right? But guys, let's get into the main segment of the program. We will be talking to the Honorable Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Minister Susan Rodriguez. So I'm going to invite her on screen. Well, let's welcome the Honorable Minister. Minister, good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Courdel, and to your viewers.
How are you, first of all?
Little tired, but
I know you're coming off of a dream realized at the conference center yesterday for Region 4. Before we get into that, recently there was the first dream realized for 2024 held in Region 3 at the newly constructed CHNPA building there in Port Ryan. Tell us about what went on there, the attendance, and probably how many lots were distributed.
So thanks for your invitation this morning. It is a very important conversation, I think, for us to have. The Ministry of Housing is doing tremendous work, work that directly impacts the lives of our citizens. And as I mentioned yesterday in my remarks to Region 4, the Ministry of Housing is being used deliberately, in a deliberate manner, as a vehicle to transform the lives of Guyanese. So it's a very important conversation. It's important for people to understand the vision behind the housing sector and how the housing program is being used to enrich the lives of our fellow Guyanese, turning them from renters into landowners and subsequently homeowners, giving them empowerment and access to financing. So we had our first major drip realize, as you mentioned, about 12 or 13 days ago in Region 3. We distributed approximately 1,000 house lots there. We had a lot more available because we invited about 1,500 people, but a common problem that we have is that we don't always reach everybody that we intend to reach. And so approximately 1,000 people were allocated there, a little less. And then yesterday we had one for Region 4, where we allocated over 1,000 lots on the East Coast in two areas in particular, Plantation Nomprel and Plantation Enterprise Phase 2. So we've made allocations in these areas before, but this is another phase of the development. And we have ongoing infrastructure work there.
Yes. No, Minister, you mentioned the fact that the ministry was hoping to allocate more house lots in Region 3 than expected, and this was due to some persons the ministry not being able to contact some persons and probably some other small issues. But the ministry would have launched a platform to assist with this. So, and more specifically, applications from 2019 and prior. So, could you take us through the paces in the thinking of the ministry in terms of coming up with this platform and how it's supposed to help applicants in the process in relation to knowing where they are and the process?
So we felt that there was a need to address housing applications in an even more transparent and accountable way. And that's always in the forefront of our minds, because the Ministry of Housing, CHPA, the service there can sometimes be abused by outsiders, middlemen, and even staffers in some cases. And we've had some instances there where we had to address that. And so His Excellency came up with an idea. And, the president is always very forward thinking. He likes technology. And we have a policy in the government where we'd like to move a lot of our services, government services, to e-governance. Thereby promoting transparency, promoting accountability, and removing all subjectivity in the system. People often remark that they are unaware of which year we are addressing, and so they want some sense of direction, because sometimes we have an individual who's waiting on an allocation. They see an allocation exercise happening. They see people receiving their house lots, and they're saying, what about me? Or I know somebody who got through, who applied after me, and that kind of thing. And they feel as though they're somehow being left out of the system, whether deliberately or not. It doesn't matter, but they don't feel included in the process. So in another effort to bring some clarity and to bring some structure and order to the way we are making allocations, we said, look, we're going to make lots available up to 2019. So for all of the years up to and including 2019, because we have a huge backlog that we inherited, as you know, Courdel. And since we came back into government and we've revamped and rejuvenated the housing program, we've seen a tremendous increase in housing applications. So I think, if I remember correctly, I think from 2020 to now, we've received about 25,000 new applications, or some thereabout, about that figure.
Right.
And that came and is now adding on to those that were there when we came into government, which I think was around 60 or 70,000 of the backlog applications that we have. So we
Right.
have a responsibility to address those older applications first. And so we put a time period up to and including 2019, and to help us to capture these applications, because what we do sometimes when we are pulling from our land management system all of the old applications, we have trouble reaching people. So people may have updated their application years ago or applied years ago and never followed up with the ministry. They moved, they changed their telephone number. And when we pull those applications, about 50% of the application, the applicants that we pull, we can't reach. So then
Right.
you have to move on to other years, because there's no intention to keep the lots. We want people to get the house lots.
Right.
But we have to make contact with you, invite you, and have you come and pay for your house lot. But we've set a limit, which is up to 2019, and to help us get the updated information, we launched the online platform, which is a platform that automatically filters out new applications. So once you have an application dated 2019 and prior, you go on the website, you put in your particulars, and you have an opportunity there effortlessly to just enter your new phone number. So you don't have to fill out a form, you don't have to visit the ministry, you don't have to take in any proof of address or there's no hassle.
Right.
Zero hassle. You can be wherever you are. You don't have to go and speak with any security guard, with any staff who may give you wrong information, because there's a possibility of that. And people say, I don't like going to the ministry. Sometimes they push me around. We want to avoid all of that. So you can sit in your home or on your phone. Everybody has a mobile phone, and you can go in there, update your information. And as long as your application falls within that period, which is up to 2019, you will see a message saying that this application is successful, and we will contact you at the appropriate time for your allocation, because
Right.
you are eligible for an allocation. Not just that you have an application in the system, but that you're eligible for an allocation. And so once we announce these events, we will pull from that database, which should have the most accurate and updated contact information.
Correct. Right.
Making it easier for us, so we don't have to have 50% of our calls go unanswered, or waste time hearing that this number has changed and all of that. We can have the most accurate information, and the people who need it, or the people who are qualified, receive that call, so they can come and get their house lots.
Yeah. Now, Minister, in terms of persons updating their information, now I would have remembered at the Region 3 housing drive, it was mentioned that the ministry is trying to move away from these big dream realized events and have that individual contact with allottees or applicants for house lots, and have them come into the ministry through this online process that allows them to update their application. Now, yesterday, I want to bring this to your attention. I saw this post on Facebook from your colleague MP, Ms. Flubes, speaking to the housing drive yesterday at the conference center, and persons having to line up in the sun and all sorts of nonsense. Now, just for the sake of the viewers, the platform, for clarity's sake, the platform will eventually phase out this big grouping to have persons receive their house lots. Is that correct?
That is not the intention. The intention is not to phase out these very public events. Now, people think these events are for posturing, or I'm now seeing this post actually about photo ops or about the optics, because whenever the Ministry of Housing announces one of these major exercises, members of the opposition seem to get the jitters. They get confused. It seems to create a lot of madness in the camp, because this is something that they have woefully failed at during their tenure in office. We were
Right.
able to allocate more than 7,000 house lots, which is what they did in 5 years. We were able to allocate more than 7,000 house lots in the first few months of our government. And that's because the APNU AFC never understood how to deliver housing. They also never understood the importance of the housing program, and that's why it was relegated to a department. So it shows clearly that they don't appreciate the impact it has, and the ability it has to transform the lives of ordinary Guyanese.
Yeah.
Up to now, they don't appreciate the impact of the housing program, because one of their initiatives that is being proffered by the leader of the opposition is subsidized rent. Now, that sounds like a good fix for today, but what about tomorrow? How do you empower this person? They also like to use a common criticism and say we like people depending on the government. But what is more dependent than subsidized rent and social housing, when you have to depend on the government to help you to pay your rent?
Right.
We don't want Guyanese to be renters all the days of their lives. We want landowners and homeowners, so that we can empower you, that we can give you financial independence. You can go to the bank, you can access financing, you can build a home of your choice, and you have that stability and security in your life, knowing that this is yours and nobody can take it away from you, not even the government who gave it to you. Because once you receive your transport or your title, that is indefeasible. So seeing these things are sad, because it's so discouraging, and not to us, because we understand the importance of this, but to people who are watching and can come and be a part of this program and be included and receive a house lot, looking at these negative posts and trying to put a negative spin on it is, I'm sure, very confusing to a lot of ordinary people, and they're wondering, but what's going on? Why fight down a good thing?
Right.
And this is a great initiative, and it's very impactful. It has the ability to really, really transform and improve the lives of people. The second point I'd like to make in regard to the public allocation exercises is that if we don't do this, Courdel, and we do everything in private, it will be termed we're doing it in secret.
Under the table deals.
It's under the table, and we're only giving our people, and we're discriminating against certain ethnicities. So it's important for us to do it publicly too. We're not afraid of the cameras. Let the cameras come.
Right.
Let the cameras show the faces of the beneficiaries. Nothing is being done in secret. Nothing is being done in hiding. Everybody there had their application for a long time. They can question people. We had all the news outlets there. The newsroom, the news source, everybody, the government, media, DPI, NCN, everybody's there. And they can ask people, when did you apply for your house lot? Where are you living? Where, and they can find out. Question them. Ask them whatever they want. It's free reign. You have 1,000 people sitting there. Go question everybody.
Right.
And then you see the faces of Guyana. You see all the Afro-Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, Amerindian, mixed people. Because that's not a criteria to be qualified for your. It's only the year. That's all we're looking at. So I know it can be uncomfortable sometimes to be there all day, and we're trying to improve how quickly we are able to get through the process. It is fatiguing, I understand that, and we try as much as possible to make people comfortable, but it's necessary that it's visible and that people see the process, how open and transparent it is, how random it is. You select your house lot through a lottery. You poll, nobody's telling you where you have to go,
Right, right.
and so on. So
So,
that's important. So while we will be doing more allocations in house just to try to get the numbers to try to reach our targets, we will still have sometimes these big allocation events.
mhm. No, Minister, what something I want to note as well. Now, before you became a minister, whilst you were in opposition, you didn't have a housing drive to criticize about people standing in the sun because they didn't have any major housing drives during that period. So you had nothing to criticize. You couldn't make a post like this because they did nothing like this.
That's absolutely correct. And I see people making all kinds of comments now about the price for a house lot, and as you said, there wouldn't have been any criticism like that before because there was nothing to get.
Right.
There was nothing to get. And as a matter of fact, in the months leading up to the 2020 election, that's when they went on a massive allocation. That's when most of the allocations were done in the
Right,
year
right.
2020, just before the elections. And wasn't done publicly, was done very selectively. So we had members of the opposition receiving their house lots and, scrambling because they knew at that time that they lost the election. And also, they were also in caretaker mode
Right,
since
right.
2018 December, when the no confidence motion was passed in the National Assembly. So I don't know. They have no authority on which to speak on housing, but they love to talk about housing because they have to criticize this housing program because they see how impactful it has been and they see the goodwill that it has brought the government. So they get crazy over in that camp when they
Yeah.
see the Ministry of Housing being active, and they can't understand how we're able to do this, how the PPP is able to allocate these house lots and get the work done. So they have to find little things to pick on. So they pick on the cost of the house lot, they pick on people having to wait long. But those are, while we understand that we can improve some of our services, look at the bigger picture.
They're
You
getting
leave
the
there,
perfect.
you leave there as an asset owner.
Right.
You pay, if you pay $200,000 or $300,000 for a house lot, by the time the infrastructure work is completed, before you even turn a spade to go on your house lot, it's already worth $1 million or more than $1 million, increasing your individual net worth when
Yeah.
you go to the bank.
Yeah. Right now, there's an allotee that was at the housing drive yesterday who waited for a substantial amount of time, but she understood what she was getting and how it would help to change her life. So I don't want to call her name here, but I see her here in the comments. Minister, I want to take you to Linden because you mentioned something that jumped out at me. In the latter days of the coalition government, they started to distribute house lots to their affiliates and supporters. And in Linden specifically, you were just there to issue titles and well, not issue titles, but to work with the persons, well, start the process of issuing titles at Fitzhope.
Yeah, we
At
signed some agreements to sale.
right, Amelia's Ward extension there. It must be noted that one person in Region 10, Linden there, got more land than the entire community under the coalition. No, you were there. Minister Cool was there as well. You were able to regularize these residents. Tell us a bit about what you heard from those persons moving from illegality into legality and actually being able to own land after squatting for so many years.
Yeah, Courdel, is a huge sense of relief for people who have, and due to unfortunate circumstances, started to squat. In some cases, it is extreme poverty that forces people to squat, and then in other cases, it's sinister motives and being encouraged by those in Linden or those who have political motives. They encourage ordinary people to do the wrong thing. Go and do the wrong, go and squat. The PPP not gonna move you because we're gonna make a big fuss out of it, and we're gonna look like they're discriminating. They're not gonna move you.
Right.
And so we had some instances where in Amelia's ward, phase 4, which was originally acquired and designed as a housing area, as a new housing area, for which we made allocations in 2021. About 400 house lots we allocated in 2021, which was more than APNU did in Linden for 5 years. In one allocation exercise, we were able to allocate more house lots than they did in 5 years. But they come to criticize us. And once the infrastructure work started in Amelia's ward phase 4, people were encouraged to go and squat. So they were not even squatting there before. Once we cleared the land, people were encouraged to squat by some activists and so on from the opposition, and they ended up squatting on the road reserve.
Yeah.
So it prevented us from completing the infrastructure work in the time it was expected to be completed. And you recall this, they made a big scene about it, and members of parliament went there with their cameras and they went live, and they look, we're breaking down people's houses. But all of those people we engaged, and we removed them, and we were able to give them a house lot in another area. And in some cases, we allowed them to remain in that same area. But the ones that were on the road reserve and so on, naturally we had to remove them because the road has to be built. The road has to go in there, and the community has to be built out in a way that reflects a housing area.
Right.
We can't encourage people to squat in an ad hoc way, haphazard way, with no proper infrastructure, no proper road reserve, no drainage, and then expect them to get the realizable value of the property. The only way the banks will be able to give you the realizable value of the property is if your land exists in a structured, well-ordered housing area.
Right.
So that's what we're saying to people. Give us a chance to do this work, and we will ensure that every single applicant, whether you live in Linden, whether you live in Berbice, wherever you live, whether you live in Region 2, Region 4, we will make land available. And I took a long time in Region 3. I gave a long presentation because it was the first allocation event for the year, and I wanted people to understand that we have made the lots available for all the applications up to 2019. It's just for us to go through the allocation process. It's about 20,000. We can't allocate 20,000 people in one day.
Right.
So we're doing it across the regions based on demand in the region, so that we will address every application. And that's why I want people to know that, so they'll know they don't have to go and pay a bribe. They know they don't have to go and get hustled by anybody who will say to them, I can get your house lot for you, give me something. We want that to stop completely. We want to eradicate that completely from our allocation process. And that's why we're moving everything as much as possible to electronically, so that it can be open, transparent, and hassle-free.
Yeah. I've been telling the viewers of a comment that was made at that event in Linden, and I want to give you a chance to expound on it, to show the mindset of the opposition. Now, when MP Figueroa was at the podium, he spoke to organized squatting, right? Organized squatting, and that really shocked me, because I'm saying, how could you organize illegality? You understand? And you just spoke to allocating 400 house lots in Linden, and that surpassed the entire 5 years of the APNU. So just from that comment, what can we garner in relation to the thinking of the opposition in relation to housing, especially in areas like Linden that is sympathetic to them or could be deemed sympathetic to them?
So he was offering an excuse because he was one of the people that were involved in encouraging people and you know, going with cameras and criticizing the government for removing illegal squatters. And so I rebutted him because you were there. And I said, no, sorry, there's nothing like organized squatting because you're just taking up a portion of land that does not belong to you, first of all. So you're committing an illegal act, first of all. Everybody knows squatting is illegal. You are establishing your own boundaries. So you're not operating and reflecting a plan that has been developed for that area.
Right.
You are randomly selecting whether you want a big lot, small lot, drawing your own boundaries. You have no idea where the road network is going to go. You have no idea how you're going to get drainage for your land. And you're just taking up a piece of land. You obviously cannot get a legal connection to electricity and water, so which is not a good situation for you to be in,
Right.
and leads to all kinds of humanitarian crisis and health crisis and all of these things. It's unsanitary and so on. So why would in 2024 people feel like they need to squat, you know, and be encouraged to squat? You should look at the work of the government, regardless of which party you support, because we're helping everybody. And look at the work that we're doing, understand the magnitude of it. And that's why I encourage people, when you have time on the weekends, on Sundays, take your family and go driving. Just go driving in the new housing areas, and then you'll see the magnitude and the scale of the housing development taking place in every single region. You can do that, and you'll understand that there is a bigger vision, that there's a plan that we are executing, a plan that includes all Guyanese, a plan that will see all of those applications that are legally pending in our system. You will see that it will be addressed. So you don't need to fall prey to any opposition member or in Linden, you don't need to fall prey to people encouraging you and telling you, you know, they're not going to give land to Afro-Guyanese. When they took it for themselves, they didn't give it to ordinary people. And we're there all the time, developing new housing areas. And I spoke when I was there too about new housing areas that we are developing in Fitzhope, in York, all of these for which Londoners will benefit. So it's important that people pay attention to the news, pay attention to the program and the vision and policies that we have in our government, and ignore these negative people, ignore the opposition who couldn't do it when they had the chance to do it, and now we're coming to tell you something different. So why should you trust them? Why should you trust their ideas or their proposed policies when they had a chance to do it and they didn't do it? So people have to be very, very cautious about which politician or political party they can trust.
You know, Minister, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I keep telling persons 90% of the major development in Linden has been under PPPC administrations. The desalinization plant, Amelia's Ward, Block 22, hospital. I think Ministry of Housing is doing community roads in some of these areas as well.
Yes. We continue to regularize squatting areas and all of it. So the region transformation, we've created thousands of jobs in the region through the housing program alone. And you have all of these other sectors working in Linden to ensure that Linden is opened up. You have the Mabura Road, and that will see thousands of people pass through Linden, bringing business to Linden, bringing tourism to Linden. And not forgetting that Linden has had subsidized electricity from a long time ago. Under our administration, we have continued to subsidize electricity in Linden. We've never discriminated against Linden. In fact, we get the opposite criticism, that we're doing too much in Linden and not in some of the other areas. You know, sometimes we get that criticism. But we try to work in every single region. So nobody has any legitimate claim about discrimination against this government. You notice that that has died down a lot. It used to be like last year and so on. You used to hear a lot about discrimination and so on. It's kind of died down a lot because we've been able to dispel with that.
Yeah, yeah. Minister, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to be here this morning. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank your staff. The staff at the Ministry of Housing worked to some ungodly hours last night. I know that for sure, to ensure that everybody who was there were allotted. So, I mean, thank you to the staff. Thank you
Yeah,
to
they're
you.
phenomenal, and we're
Yeah.
very grateful to those staff members.
And also Minister Kroll as well. The two of you have been doing a phenomenal job, whether it is housing or water. Phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of work to go around.
Yes, yes, indeed. Anyway, I know that you have cabinet today, so
Yes.
I'll allow you to depart. Again, thank you for being here. And before you go, any closing statement?
No, thank you for having me. Keep up the good work as well. I know you're on the ground a lot. You get a lot of feedback. Positive and negative is fine, because I like when people come with some of the criticism or some of what they hear, so that we can address it.
Right.
I believe in giving people information. I believe in healthy debates, constructive debates, and through whatever medium we can use to get information to people, I think that is extremely vital, so that people understand the thinking behind government's policies and programs, and they can understand when people know that the government or their leaders have a plan for them, they have
Right.
less to worry about, and
Indeed.
more to trust, and more
Indeed.
confidence. So that is important for people to understand. I always try to ensure that people understand what the program is and how we operate, what the requirements are, so that they can have confidence and trust in the system.
Thank you, Minister. Do have an enjoyable rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, that was Minister Susan Rodriguez, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, giving us a rundown on the housing program and, clearing the air on some stuff. We still got a couple of things to deal with here. I never go back to my boy. My boy dealt with the naysayers wonderfully. You understand? Right? Now, I want to take y'all to a Mark Benchcop video. Listen, you just gotta watch these whole programs to catch these little segments, because it's wild. It's wild, right? It's wild. So whilst Mark encouraging people to boycott Afro-Guyanese businesses, the ministers here ensuring that Afro-Guyanese get house lots. And not just Afro-Guyanese, all Guyanese. If you check them yesterday, from all walks of life. From all walks of life. Let me jump to Mark video.
Royals Rome continues to burn, and your people, your ancestors.
This here is exactly what I spoke of yesterday. They don't want to debate you on the facts. They want to tell you their point. When you say, hey, I don't agree, they start raising the voice and trying to overpower you. Yeah, listen to this in this engagement here.
You're not listening.
All right.
Mind you, this is one of the persons who was berated in relation to the president's visit, and Mark Benchcop had a lot to say about the guy, and the guy calling the program and tell Mark, yeah, he's passy.
Understand that.
You can do it your way.
1 second.
Other people could do it their way.
1 second.
I
1 second.
choose to
But-
dialogue.
1 second, sir. 1 second. No. What if Jesus Christ to continue having dialogue with the money changers?
Well, you go along with that dialogue. I'm not going to go into that.
So you see, right? If you do not agree with their ideology, their approach to Guyana and dealing with the government, so because you're Afro-Guyanese, you must automatically hate the government, don't want nothing to do with them. You understand? But other people who got a different approach, man, not everybody's stupid like you.
I'm not going to get into that. I'm saying
I can go and preach a sermon on that, but I'm not going to go into that.
I was a pastor. I was a pastor in Camp Street Prison too.
Mark was a pastor in Camp Street Prison. Mark was a pastor in Camp Street Prison. You know how Mark outside of Camp Street. Y'all know why Mark went to prison. Y'all remember why Mark went to prison? So please don't be mistaken for persons who may not be from Guyana or may not know the story. Mark is not a case where Mark was in the house or minding the business and the police come and lock up Mark and them kind of thing. Mark storm off, see the president with some people, rush through the gate, and the people jail. You understand? Which country you could rush through the president? Mark could try to the White House. Mark could try this at the White House. He had good. You understand? So Mark being in prison, and Mark apparently was a pastor. Now, as a pastor, the kind of rhetoric that comes out of Mark, I think God would be a little disappointed. Because if you're misrepresenting information, you're lying. God ain't like lying. God said don't lie. You know, it's a sin. So what kind of pastor was Mark really?
But that is not the issue. That is not the issue. That is, before you go, do you believe that at some point in time, there should be some apology to the Guyanese community in Brooklyn, who most of them feel that they were insulted?
No, how? Which survey was taken to determine that most of the Guyanese community in Brooklyn was disappointed? With the petition that they signed, these people in Brooklyn, these Guyanese, that make Mark their mouthpiece. Mark speaking on their behalf. You understand where I'm coming from? Between the time the president was there and to this hearing and this program, when Mark do a survey to see how many people vex about the president visit. And that's what talking about. Lying to people. How you come up with them numbers? Or is it that you talking to people in your circle, in your PNC circle, that of the same view as you? When you meet with all these Guyanese in the diaspora, you understand? So Mark continues to misrepresent and lie to people on the program. I gotta call the prisoners and find out if he was a pastor for truth.
From whom?
From you and others.
From me? Why don't you apologize to them, seeing that you're looking for... You need to apologize to me, right? And you and I will talk off camera.
No. We'll talk publicly. Apologize to you for what? Let's talk right now. And if, one second.
Blowing up my name about the place there. You need to apologize.
Blowing up your name about what?
We have been friends too long for you to be so...
One second. No. Blowing up your name for what?
You should have called me and let's talk.
No, but
brought my name and writing up. Nothing is factual there.
What have I said? Convoluted. 1 second.
Liar Mark Benchcop. And once you're of Afro-Guyanese descent and you do not agree with them, they attack you. Even if they got make up things. That man ain't said nothing but Mark. That man ain't post nothing but Mark. Mark calling people Pam. Mark get Pam to call she show. To call the show. And she wasn't there and the staffing called her and a set of stupidness. I couldn't believe there's a big woman who got her own business living outside this country. Not like the president or the government could affect anything in relation to her. Pam got her thing outside. You understand? So I was flabbergasted to see Pam act in such a spineless manner as an established businesswoman for decades in the United States of America as well. right? You supposed to got more grit, Pam, or you make mad got you shuffling around the place, you calling to apologize that the head of state of the country you visit, sorry, the country you're from, visited your establishment? And if it was an AP and you personally, they probably continue talking. You want to click that to talk stupidness. Drones! I gotta get a drone and go to the States and visit Pam and Hills. You understand me? Guys, if you're in New York, y'all go down to Pam and Hills and support. Go down, despite Pam was spineless to go on Mark Bench Cup show and apologize and give explanation and all of that, I'm asking y'all to support Pam and to support Hills Restaurant in the United States there, Brooklyn or Bronx or wherever the hell they're at. You understand? Right? So please, let us show these APNU people that their foolishness that they're going on with, we're not gonna encourage it. And we are people who will support Guyanese wherever they are, because we are Guyanese. Morning, caller.
Mr. Courdel. Ben Scott can't talk for Linden, you know. When I die in New York, I just eat at Linda on Church Avenue. Ben Scott can't talk, but Ben Scott don't buy nothing no fucking way. You understand me? When I die in New York, I just buy from fucking Linda Lennox. This is my favorite restaurant. I just go.
Right.
Just go.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
boss.
Thank you. You see? Guyanese can support them no matter what you say, man. And Pam, show a little spine. Guyanese got your back. With this Indo, Afro, Amerindian, Portuguese, mixed race, Chinese, Guyanese, whoever it is, they can support you because you're Guyanese. And Guyanese believe in one Guyana, one people, one nation, one destiny. You understand? That's how we roll in. That's how we roll in. Anyway, guys, remember 2 p.m. today is the General Secretary for the PBPC. He'll be having his press conference. Make sure you guys tune into that. Don't forget today, guys, is the president's birthday. So you can take some time, go to his page, wish him happy birthday. Send you a Facebook message or something. Give you a little post or something, for the birthday. Pick up the president and stuff. Right? Y'all be safe on the roadways out there. No matter where you're driving. When you're driving here in Guyana or you're driving in the States, France, Suriname, wherever you're watching us from, England, Europe, Asia, wherever you're watching us from, be safe on the roadways today. If Miss Arjun here, start the people work. Start the people work. Other than that, guys, I'm going to see you right here tomorrow, same time, same place. It was wonderful being here with you. And as I always say before I go, it's all about peace. It's all about love. And it's all about one Guyana.
You know I love my country. There's no other country better than mine. Welcome to Guyana, land of 6 races, 6 different faces, and we all live in love. Guyana is a beautiful country, no other can compare. Got everything right here, so no other can compare. Guyana is made up of so many natural resources. We don't need no forces, cause we got enough resources. Let's talk about bauxite, gold, diamond, and rice. We got it right here. Guyana ain't going nowhere. We got enough oil too. One Guyana, I love Guyana. Guyana, my country, my home.